Hello, and what is up, everybody? Welcome to Shanth Enjeti Art. I am Shanth Enjeti, the man himself, and of course, this is Speakeasy Inspiration Preserve, because God knows we need our inspiration preserved these days, and we gotta fight for it in the best way possible, but it's great to see all of you guys. I am beginning page 30, and I promised you guys that I would do a stream when I started page 30, because after this page, there's 3 more pages left, and this book is looking, this seems amazing, but to think about it, 3 more pages on this journey that we started back in the October before the one that just passed. What's this thing going to be? How's it going to, come together? I am so proud of this work. It is beautiful. It is, of course, an unbelievable amount of time and energy that's gone into it, but oh my gosh, to be here right now, I had to stream with you guys. And also, I'm going to be on Phil's channel in a little bit. So let me say hey to who we've got here in the chat. Of course, first and foremost, we have my main man, my can of spam. It's all about money. We got Steven Rockwood drawing here. It is great to see you, my friend. Mod extraordinaire and an all-around incredible dude. It is great to see you. We've got Apex Comics in the house. Apex Comics, how are you doing, my friend? We have got 80s Made Consumer. Dude, I love your shows, man. You're killing it on your channel, man. Absolutely killing it. If you're not subbed to 80s Made, make sure you do it. Everybody is saying hello. Man, I am looking forward to it. This is, right here, the work of my life, man. This is the biggest project I've ever done. The most complicated project I've ever done. What is up, Mighty Magic? It's great to see you, my friend. Let me move this light so the strobing of the white paper doesn't happen too much. It's great to see you, Mighty Magic. I hope you're doing well. I just got back from the post office, because I had shipped out a package of the Lilith original auction piece to a good friend of mine who bought it at the auction, a fellow comic skater who you guys know from the chat, and it got sent back because they typed in the wrong address on the label, and even though it was on the box really large, and so I just had to go and rebox it, reship it, and everything like that. But it always makes me feel good because getting stuff, done is the best thing. Stephen Rockwood, you don't even know. Oh my gosh, and 80s Made, it's been quite a ride, hasn't it? Like this whole thing we've been doing, it is nuts, man. And I love it. I love seeing people come into this space, and I love seeing people, who are in the space doing well, and just how this whole thing comes together. And this is going to be a really cool and really brutal sort of little, action scene that wraps up this particular story, but with lots of room for where we can go going forward. And it is the coolest thing. Amen, 80s Made. A wild ride. Like people who aren't in this space and people who don't do this work that we're doing here. I mean, and I know you guys know because you are here, so it's kind of like preaching to the choir. But how much we do and how much is involved in, the thumbnails. You guys know. I don't have to tell you. And putting this stuff together. And then on top of it, all of the other things that we have working against it. Like, I was thinking about this today, right? I was thinking about when people talk about these massive mega corporations with billions and billions of dollars and all of these various, resources and assets and brand recognition, all that stuff, right? And I was thinking to myself, for even the biggest Comicsgate folks and indie creators in our space, I'll include Eric July in this too, because I think people, it's easy to get inside of the space and kind of think like, oh, it's like, wow, we're big in this space, so we're big in the world. For them to go up against these mega corporations, it's beyond David and Goliath. It's like going up against a freaking tank with a pistol. Like, that's the equivalent that you're talking about. So then I started thinking about creators like myself and you guys and how important you guys are to me. And at the state that I'm at in terms of where I'm at in terms of getting the word out about this stuff and this work, it's the equivalent of me going up against a tank with a butter knife. That is the best way I could describe it. And so we are really building something from scratch, because as big as it may seem, the amount of money, and it is a big amount of money, significant amount of money that Eric July has raised with the Rippaverse, by comparison to what we have to do on our end because of the obstacles in distribution, we have to do everything ourselves, and in my case, all while painting, drawing, writing, putting this together. Thank God for Eric Weathers, who I just spoke with him about, the plan for, lettering the book and the timetable and all that other stuff. And it is unbelievably difficult to create culture in this space. Do you guys know? I mean, I know you guys know what I mean. And so it's to have kind of been, fighting and fighting and fighting to get, this book funded to a level that is doable, to get this book, painted, drawn, written, illustrated. I mean, I came up with some stuff that, and this is how my writing process works on this. I came up with some stuff for this book and this is how I create. If you've seen, my artwork on my Instagram or on my website even, which has sort of best of the art books I've done, and I know some of you guys have ordered those, you can kind of see that the process of how I create and how I explore things. But I've deepened the mythos between Nosfero's sword and his relationship with Phantomas and the ring that he's wearing on the last page I was working on. And it's going to be awesome. General Piggy, 3 months membership, my friend, my channel member. Excellent. Hail, my friends. Hail to you, General Piggy. And thank you for your support, man. When I put you guys' names in the, in the end of the credits, or whatever, it's from the heart, man. I am so grateful for all of you guys who are channel members. And I've been really trying to make sure, channel members, that I'm posting stuff in the members section, like artwork that other people aren't seeing. I posted one piece of artwork that was supposed to be a members exclusive, and it accidentally went out to the larger public, and I had to take it down and then repost it. But you guys are keeping this channel. You guys really make this channel possible in so many ways. I mean, it's by no means is it making a mint, but every dollar counts. I look at people who have enough channel members to where it's and they've earned it. They've worked so hard, and I am so grateful for what I have. Let me be really clear, in case that even remotely seems like it has a tinge of Marxist lack of gratitude. But it is a lot of work to do that kind of stuff, and you always remember the people who, at the start of it, who are just like, I got your back, man. I believe that this is something worth paying for. This is something worth, supporting. And it is. I love that, guys. I think about it all the time. And believe me, whenever I'm checking and I'm getting the credits ready, it's you put thought into that. That's like by hand, man. I put that stuff together. So thank you guys for that, channel members. And channel member Stephen Rockwood, General Piggy, all of you guys are awesome. And those of you guys who show up to the streams, man, and are here, I appreciate it, guys. It's killer stuff. So yeah, so I started working on page 30 today, and one of the things that has been really cool about it is I choreographed out the scene of what how their battle is gonna come together, and I was looking at I was thinking about this, that how do I word it? I wonder if it's a lot harder to do this kind of stuff if you've never been in a fight before, if that makes sense. And because it's just, there's certain things, and maybe I think you could probably get it if you were, if you watch enough fights too, which I certainly watch enough fights, but I've also been in some, and, with not the highest success rate, I might add. But you understand, the whole grappling thing, and you understand, like, how, how people, interact in those situations. And that's been one of the biggest things, for me anyway, that I've been really thinking about when I work on this book, is trying to get that action. Because when you look at what Frank Frazetta does, when you look at what any of these folks do, it is, what they bring to the table is almost this kind of power, to their stuff, this kind of intensity. And so that's been something I've really been wanting to take advantage of doing this book, because that's the stuff I love. There we go. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday. Got in a really nice, weekend with the family, which was great. Shout out to the wife and kids. I'm proud of all those guys. They've been working really, really hard. And something very cool that's coming down the pike. So I've had people reaching out to me who are channel members and saying, asking me about, are you going to have a schedule for this channel in terms of streams? I mean, generally it's in the afternoon, but are you going to have a schedule, for things? And I finally said, you know what? I was out on a date with my wife, and I said, listen, I was like, I'm going to start doing something on Fridays. And it's going to be called, hey, what's up, James Hayes? How are you doing, my brother? How you been? Hey, Shanth, and you in the chat. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great day, James Hayes. And thank you guys for being here. Make sure you do hit the like. It does help. And I said, babe, do you want to... I'm thinking about doing something called Friday Night Figure Painting. And I asked her, I said, and by the way, night is going to be relative because I love my girl, but she goes to bed super early. And I said, do you want to me to set up a space for you on my desk right here, zoom the camera out, and we'll work together and do figure drawing and figure painting? And she was like, I would love to do that. I said, you don't have to carry the show or anything, just work, we'll just hang out. I think it'd be a fun thing for us to do on Fridays with the channel members. And she said she was game. And so we will see how that goes. So this Friday should be the inaugural episode of Friday Night Figure Painting, Figure Drawing, whatever she feels like doing. I'm going to be doing some painting and drawing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Because I started working on, I was doing some figure paintings, and I just thought that's something that would be a blast to do. A great way to celebrate, you know, the end of the week, have some fun, and yeah, do some fun things on the channel. And it just made me laugh, and I thought, that'll be good for us. Because we work so hard. I know you guys all know the same thing. I know I've talked to 80s Mate about it. It's like when, you know, you got family and you've got a lot of things going on with work and then there's streaming and all that other stuff. This is the thing about it, you know, you need that time together. And I always have a great time when I hang with the chat. And I said, you know what, I need to bring her into this. Because, you know, one of the things about this is that if you've got, you know, if you've got a partner who's, you know, knows what you do and has been with you for decades at this point, one of the things is that they're always like, you know, is there something I can do to help, or is there a way I can, you know, be involved in this that will be helpful to you? And I thought, yeah, man, of course there is, but I can never think of a reason. And she's an artist, and she can draw, and she, you know, is just a cool cat, dare I say. And I thought, oh, that's what we should do. We should do something like that, because I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It could be a train wreck, but it'll be my fault if it is. So, yeah. Because I'm the one who's making that call. What is up? Eric Huffle's in the house. How are you doing, Eric? It's great to see you, man. And, yeah, man, thank you guys for popping in here and checking out the stream. Much appreciated. I updated my software on the streaming platform that I use. It was hilarious, man. It was like... it was the stream, the clock was ticking down, and I was going, uh-oh. You know, is this going to be done in time? But you guys know how that goes. It's insanity. It's always madness. Let me get some orange in here. So, yeah, Nosfero is taking on Drake Thulu, and I remember, I think it was Stephen Rockwood, but I could be wrong. Stephen, correct me. Correct the record if I'm wrong on this. But, was it Stephen Rockwood? It could have been Jim Cox. I don't know who the hell it was, but it was a great comment. They were like going... So, hey, this is a horror book, supposedly. Where's the blood? And I was like, don't worry, there's going to be blood in this thing. And, yeah, you're going to get your money's worth now, guys. Because this is where it's happening. This is where the throwdown and the showdown takes place. And so, yeah, this book has got everything. And what I'm thinking about with this stuff is I've been looking at a lot of great pulp artwork. Been looking at a lot of cool... you know, fight scenes and things like that. But at the end of the day, you just gotta kind of feel it, you know. And for those of you guys who are interested in checking it out, and I'm trying to think of whose time it is. He may have already scheduled it. But Phil and I are I'm gonna be on Phil's channel. He sent me a message last night and was kind of like, hey, dude, we gotta stream together. What are you doing tomorrow? So I think at around 3 o'clock, I don't know if it's my time or his time. Actually, let me check. Let me check the text there. Got a missed call. Oh, that's not good. Hold on a second here. And where's my man, Phil? Okay, so 3. He said about 3 or 4 Eastern Standard Time, but he'll probably schedule it and let me know, or if he's in the chat and he's watching this, let me know. Give me a shout out. What's up, Timmy Mello? Channel member Timmy Mello. God bless you. Thank you for being here, my friend. And yes, check out the Lost Pages 3. Just unbelievably cool stuff. Well, I'm always asking for more blood, you know, so it could have been me. Yeah, that's probably right. It might have been you, my friend. It might have been you. But it's one of those things to where I grew up reading. I grew up reading Tim Vigil comics, and actually, the first indie comic book I ever did when I was 14 was inspired by Tim Vigil's Grips. So I was reading that kind of stuff, and I always loved the way that Tim rendered out and painted with ink, so to speak, blood. And I wanted to create that kind of, when I was a kid, I was like, I want to be able to do that one day. And now that I can, I'm going to get the most of it, man. I mean, that's what it's about. But I mean, I want it to be, really kind of cool, action-oriented stuff, but with that great comic book vibe, that great comic book feel is what it's about. There we go. We're getting this together. Getting that right. I'm like painting off frame, man. What are you going to do? Hail, Marcus. How are you doing, my friend? Hey, Shanth. Just left listening to the... just left listening to the Corolla show. Damn, man. Thank you. That's a huge compliment, man. I appreciate that, dude. That's great. And it's great to have you here. Let me see if I can move this so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, when I'm working on this stuff, I want to make sure that I'm getting, all of the kind of energy in it. And, the story of Nosfero's sword and its discovery is something that you guys are going to love. If you love the 80s, and I don't know if 80s Made does, you never know. That would be the plot twist of the decade. But the discovery of where all that stuff comes from is very Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It is a very conscious nod to that movie. And the finding of the second marker, the shield in the tomb, that's really what's going to be a big part of that sort of discovery. And it's going to be fun to paint because one of the things, I want this book to have every single thing that are the flavors and the textures of this genre. Do you know what I mean? Both pulp, which is mystery, danger, and sexiness, and then on top of that, the things I love about the kind of haunted, spooky sort of world, which is, the catacombs, the crypts, the cemeteries, the tombstones, the vampires, the ancient cities, all of that kind of stuff, the monsters, the creatures, the bats, all of that stuff has got to be in this in order for me to be satisfied. And I want you guys to be satisfied too with it. And it's, man, getting to page 30, guys, when you get to that real legit home stretch, it is, I'm sure other people and folks who publish books in Comicsgate can speak to it as well. It is like, when I was driving home from work, I had a 90-mile commute when I was teaching. And the big city that's near, the closest, city to where I live is Providence, Rhode Island. And I was driving from Massachusetts, north of Boston. And I was driving home, and there was this one point where you'd crest this hill. You'd be going up and up and up. You'd crest this hill, and you could see the lights of Providence. You were still 10, 15 miles away, but you could see the lights of Providence. And you knew you were almost home, and you'd had another safe commute under the belt. Didn't get in a car accident. You were fine. And it was something it's very tough on that road because people drive like maniacs. And I just remember that feeling, and that's the exact feeling I have right now. So it's like miles to go before I'm home still, but not many miles. And that is really what this is about, man. What's up, Dragon Pisces? How are you doing? Yes, long time no see, and it's great to see you, my friend. I just thought of that. I was like I haven't seen Dragon Pisces in a while. How are you doing? Neon Todd Studios. It is great to see you, Neon Todd. How are you doing? See if I missed anybody else. The Chrome Dog trailer is finally up on my YouTube. There you guys go. Yeah, man. And you drop that link. There it is. Timmy's already got it. I'm like a day late and $1 short, man. A casual 90-mile commute. I know, man. It was a lot. Yeah, casually Googling Tim Vigil, and he worked with Mike Barron on Badger in the 80s. I don't doubt it, man. It's the best. Yeah, mass drivers are the worst. I have family from there. Yes. I believe they have an affectionate name that begins with mass and ends with holes. So, it is what it is. But I love my Massachusetts people. God bless you all. But you know as well as I do that on the road, it is just, it's like driving in India. There don't seem to be any frickin' rules at all. It's like, okay, so this cow has the right of way. This bus is trying to pass the cow. Oh my Lord. It's some scary stuff, man. It is some scary stuff. But whenever you get towards that tail end of the book, it's weird. The last bit seems like it moves simultaneously in slow motion and fast motion, because it's like breaking static friction, and then things start to really move. So knowing that I have got now 30 pages, it's a major milestone, right? In the books, man, does it feel good. It feels so, so good. And the book is, it has to be rendered out, but the book is it's done. It's there, it's the whole thing is sitting there. I know exactly how it plays out. I understand the shots. I'm going to go through all of the artwork with a fine-tooth comb for continuity and to see if there's anything cool I can just make a little bit more obvious, because the story, kind of has matured and evolved a little bit, and making sure certain things don't contradict other things visually, which is easy to do. I mean, I do that with every book and every project I do. But it's like it's 30-something paintings, man. It's crazy. Yeah, oh gosh, 10 pages. You feel it after 10, Marcus. You ain't kidding, man. Yeah, there's also Red Sox fans. Yeah, that's true, right? Yes, indeed, man. And I'll tell you this, guys, and you're absolutely right. It's the everybody always talks about this, in Comicsgate. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, that there's the idea, and then there's, the polishing that thing out and making it into something. Then there's the illustrating it, or there's the making it into a comic book. There's all these different stages of difficulty and things that you have to, kind of work through. And until you do it, you don't really have the, when I talk about that, until we ourselves do it, you don't know what you're going to run into. And it is quite the relief. Like, this is the thing that kind of blows my mind, but supply chains were very different when I formulated my plan, if you catch my drift. And so it's just bananas. It's bananas to be at this point, because so many obstacles, man. But grateful for everything. And it's coming together beautifully. There we go. So how are you guys doing? Let me know. And Eric Huffles, thanks for dropping links. Dragon Pisces in the house. It's great to see you, my friend. All of you fine people. Thank you. Yeah. The Red Sox have a long season ahead of them. There's my man, Phil. Hey, Phil. What time are we streaming, man? I know you said 3 or 4 Eastern Standard Time. You let me know, man. You put the thumbnail up, and I'll be there with bells on. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to talk some pulp. I'm feeling good. Feeling good about getting this book to where it's at, man. It's like, and I used to be apprehensive about painting fight scenes before. Not because I don't enjoy them, but because there's just something about you have to just be in a zone. You have to just be in a groove. And I would do single image action scenes when I was doing my paintings, but it's a very different thing to board out a sequence and a fight that feels, like it's satisfying in a comic book. And I just feel like I've really gotten to a place where I'm so much more comfortable with it right now. Like, as you guys can see, I do some pencil scribbles, and then I just go straight into the paint now, because it's just, I know how to refine this stuff now and get it to exactly where it is. And the most important thing is to keep the energy in there. 4 Eastern Standard Time should be good, man. Excellent, brother. Yeah, I will be there. How's the first book coming along? Are you meaning Nosfero? Great, dude. I'm curious, Shanth, now that you are nearing the finish line, what is the biggest thing you learned while doing this comic book? Oh my God. I feel like I'm about to quote Clayton Bigsby. Don't look that up, by the way, if you're easily offended. From Chappelle's show. Buddy, how much time you have? Let's see. Since the start of this, I have learned how to okay, so there's the book thing, which I learned on the first 2 art books. Biggest thing I've learned on this is how much I love... I always kind of knew, but until you do the work, and even though I've done several books, how much I love comics. I love making comics. It is, God, I could think about that would be a whole conversation. But and how much I love telling stories. And man, for the first time in my storytelling, and this is going to sound weird when you get the book, because this book is very dense in terms of narrative, I realized what sequence to make comics in. Does that make sense? So I used to try to make comics as if they were the most important thing. And, like we should say that story I was working on was of like this massive, crazy, insane importance. And it snatched the life out of the artwork. Because when you're working on something as if you think it's going to be this big, important thing, that's not something you could control. I put myself into the zone and the space of just entertain these people. And yes, please do update your address, Dragon Pisces. Absolutely. And I started thinking about how I started viewing my job here as providing people with beauty and providing people, which I always had thought about, but I really reconnected with that. And just painting to entertain, making work to entertain, and not thinking about all this freaking lore and what is the. I mean, this is gonna sound really funny. I let the lore grow out of the process of making it, and I wasn't painting to fill in the lore, if that makes sense. Yes, I have. Although I'm going to be honest with you, it just flows. It's just been, the whole thing has just been flowing. But I will tell you this right now. I know Ethan talks about this a lot with that tells that famous Stan Lee story a lot, which is, do one your way, and then at the very least you'll be able to call it a day and know that it's like you did what you said you always wanted to do in it. My wife said to me when I started working on this project, Mrs. Enjeti, hail Mrs. Enjeti, and we're going to be doing a new show on Fridays called Friday Night Figure Painting, and I'm just going to be working on figure illustrations or just painting, really, honestly, and but figure centric, and she's going to be here at the desk with me. But she said to me, since I was out of college, I've been in love with Art Nouveau, and there really hasn't been a place to do it, and making work that was this beautiful, flowy work. And she said, if you're gonna do this comic, go full tilt and make it this flowing, elegant, beautiful place, and this work. And I had done tons of pages and artwork that were explorations of this. I've done 2 books of paintings, but this was the first time I was going to really try to bring it into sequential art. And so seeing that happen, guys, you can point to this book and I will tell you this, and they'll say, that is everything. That is, like I said, I could die happy. My wife would not like that though. After this book, because it finally is the book I was trying to show people all those times as a comic book artist. So yeah, I mean, I know you asked me a relatively simple question in a sense, but this has been big. This has been a huge process for me in terms of working on this thing. It's like, I mean, I look at that double page spread where the book is being formed for the first time. It's being basically called into being with magical powers. And I made it so that the pages, as they fly into the book at the spine of the book is, even though it's small, in the spine of the book, in the crease of the book. So it's almost like as the pages of this book are being made, the pages of Nosfero are being made. I don't know if that makes any sense, but man, it's just crazy. Yeah. Think of all the great movies that were made as just a job. Casablanca, you're right, and Transformers, the movie, come to mind. They were just trying to get the jobs. Guys, that is exactly what it's about. Making the work and getting the work done. That's it. You should. Stephen Rockwood, I think you owe that at this point to back the book at the very least. So yeah, like when I'm at this scale, let it focus there. There we go. When I'm at this scale working on this book, and I, getting down to, the kind of nitty gritty aspect of it, that's what is going through my mind is, how do I make this thing the most entertaining thing it can possibly be? And I know that that's what we're all sort of doing. But yeah, it's crazy, man. 30 pages, guys. 30 pages of comic book work. I have not ever done a book that had 30 paintings in it. This book is going to have 30 paintings with interlocking smaller paintings inside of them. That is why you do not see a lot of painted comic books, because it is a massive task to do them. But holy cow, is it worth it? And that's why the final products are, they are something that usually stands the test of time. I was looking at Simon Bisley's Slain, which is a beautiful book. I look at a lot of the stuff that Mobius has done. I even look at, frankly, just the individual paintings that Frank Frazetta has done. And I just think that's where it's at, and channel members have been seeing, some of my explorations. A lot of those explorations that I share with channel members as posts of the artwork are things that were initially things I was thinking, I might want to do this as my first Comicsgate book. But as it turned out, I was like, if I'm going to just do one, I want it to be painted, full color. I know how hard I think I know how hard it's going to be back then. Now I know exactly how hard it is. And I'm just going to see where it goes. And I think it's been so worth the trip, guys. Meeting you guys, that's been another thing that's been wild. I mean, it may seem like, it was going to go this way. We were always going to get a chance to meet, but I didn't know you guys were out there. I didn't know I was going to have these channel members and all these people showing up for streams, my regulars. And speaking of regulars, hail Scottsley. It's great to have you in the house, brother. Yeah, don't wait till payday. Back Nosfero today. I love it, 80s Made. Yeah, an 80s Made, man. When I reached out to you, dude, I was saying to my wife, I go, hey, I met someone new who's in comics and who's loving the stuff, and I'm going to go on their stream. She loves it, man. Agent Zero, hail to everyone. So glad to catch this stream. One of my faves, to be sure. Thank you, Agent Zero. I really do appreciate that. From the bottom of my heart, man. It is, guys, this has been such a big, event in our family's life that I can't quite possibly ever put the full thing into words. I mean, there's so many parts of my Comicsgate history of getting to this point and my self-publishing of the art books and all of that stuff that, looking back on it, I could not be happier and more grateful for how it's gone, because I just have a lot of faith in the fact that this book and this work that I've been doing is just, building a bigger and bigger audience as time goes on. But I will never forget the folks who were here at the start of this thing, man. I mean, that is just, it's so funny. My best friend, actually my wife, as I always say, my wife is my best friend, but one of my best friends here, who's not in CG, but he's got a pretty awesome career in his own right in comics and all that stuff. I should say coloring comics and then painting fantasy covers, is giving me a call right now. And I'll have to touch base with him at some point later. But we talk art, we talk everything, man. And he wrote the introduction for my first art book. And if you think you know how bad I am at taking a compliment, holy cow. That was almost an impossible thing to get through. Because he wanted me to read it, and I was like, expletives. Expletives. Hail, Jim Cox. How are you doing? We got the big man, Jim Cox, in the house. Good to see you, man. And yeah, man, page 30. That's all I got to say. Page 30. And I should say, because pages sounds weird to me when I talk about this. It is the truth. It's not false advertising. But I have done 30 Nosfero paintings with interlocking smaller paintings inside of each and every one. I mean, holy cow. And I'll show you some of the fun things. One of the things I was talking about with someone the other day, and I want to do it, so I'm going to show this to you right now. But the things that make this stuff good and captivating and interesting to people are all of these little flourishes that you learn over time. So little things like dropping a nice little highlight in right there. Uh-oh. Let me know if you guys heard that thump. Oh, shit. So we have a pet rabbit up in my daughter's room right now, and I just heard a mighty thump above me. Tree Goblin, what is up? How are you doing? So refreshing to be here. The chat is the best. Amen. E. Smith, how are you doing? Good stuff, Shanth. Go forth and conquer. And Godspeed. Godspeed to you, E. Smith. And Godspeed to RAZÖRFIST, as we often say. Is that a... let me know if you guys hear that. But there's a bunny directly above me. And please hit like if you haven't yet. And let's get this stream kicking some ass. Yeah, sometimes I'm regular. Sometimes, oh, sorry, Jim Cox. I'm not sure what you were asking. But yes, you are definitely a regular, my friend. And you know, we'll talk about regularity later. It's one of those things. I mean, we all have our struggles. Mine are what they are. But holy cow! Whenever the weather's about to change, our little lagomorph upstairs likes to alert us to the danger. And I often jokingly say he's trying to tell us to seal the hutch. But yeah, man, that is hilarious. We have to go out there and check on him at some point. But you see what I mean? It's those little highlights and things like that. And I want to see if I can. Sometimes if I get the desk in shot, it will color correct the this because it's a little bit more yellow than it's showing right there. But yeah, this book is going to be so freaking cool. It's basically, I always told people that when I'm doing a painting or an illustration, I treat it as if I'm decorating this board for Halloween. That's the best way I could say it. Or the Midday Crazies. Now, that could be it too, man. No, I am not, I'm not hearing the bunny thump. Okay, good. Just making sure. Rabbit must be having a stomp tantrum. Yeah, sometimes he does that when he can hear me, but it's usually, this thing is hilarious. We've become that old Southern couple, which between my arthritis and that bunny's thumping, we can pretty much tell you when the weather is going to go nuts. And so, yeah, that's definitely happening. So, yeah, I go in and I'll drop these ground, planes in, or this ground color in, and then I go in with these highlights, and that's the thing that gives it. My stuff is very line heavy, even though I paint, and because I love line. I love the way that the line language in comics. And I think Frazetta was that way too. I mean, you could see in a lot of his paintings, his comic book background really showed through. And so that's what I'm always trying to do is get those edges in there so that it has that really nice quality to it. If you see what I mean. Get you guys in a little closer there. There you go. Getting those nice little angles in there. That's the biggest one for me. People are like, how big are these pages? I'm telling you that when these things are put down on the book, which isn't going to be that small, it's going to be an 8.5 by 11, and square bound, nice paper. Actually, I want to say it. I've got my is it right here? Yeah. So for those guys who've never seen it before, this is Art Book 1. This is my reader copy, so it's a bit dinged up. So apologies there. But this is Art Book 1, and you can see how it's bound, and its scale, and it's been very well loved. There's your signatory page, but this is what my art books look like. This is the stuff that, when people are backing, this is what you're getting. And I think the art books are all sold out on their on the site. But yeah, I mean, the stuff that I'm doing in these books with these paintings are very, very line heavy, and these are like some crazy detailed paintings. It's funny, that one kind of reminds me of, and there's a Kong there. I don't know if you guys can see that, that I did in one of the art books. But, oh God, yeah. There was some love for King Kong in these, let me tell you. But you can see like the crazy stuff I'm doing with the color. And by the way, these aren't the originals. This is the book, man. So you guys can see that, that there's just a crazy amount of detail in the stuff I'm doing. And so when these books come out, they're serious productions. And in the back section of every one of my books, there's you guys might know that's the finished painting of the icon for Shanth Enjeti art, and that's one of my favorite paintings right there. I love that big gorilla hand, and beautiful lady and baby gorilla. Gotta love that stuff, man. What's up, groomsmen? But this is the back of the book, and you can see I've got a section in the back of the book that would show my palette, show my process, talk about it, show the sketch phases, all of that stuff. And this book will be no different. This book is going to have a lot of that cool stuff in it. So yeah, and book 2 I think was even better with that section, but this section's gonna be nuts. But hello, groomsman, my brother from another mother. It's great to see you. That's right, man. Love seeing all you guys in the chat. Make sure you do hit like. Oh my gosh, we're almost to 20 likes, man. We're one away. Holy cow. But yeah, I mean that has been the biggest part of making this book, come together. Has been getting that, getting all of those kinds of things. Doing 2 art books on Indiegogo and getting those crowdfunded, and then getting the full, going full out with the comic book thing, so I could actually start, calling it. To me, it felt weird. Like when I do my next art book, it's of course it's going to be like a Comicsgate, project. I won't have any issue doing that. But for those first art books, I kind of thought people are going to expect a comic book. So I better just have to do it myself, which is harder, but I did learn a ton about promotion and things like that. And I had a pretty big audience on Instagram, so it worked out at that time. And but this is a lot easier having people, having something that you're not just completely by yourself out there, to be honest. I mean, I couldn't have funded those books if the stuff wasn't good, so that was good to know that before heading into this, but yeah, this is a way better way of doing it, because it is a ton of work, man. It's a lot to promote something and have to do all that stuff on your own on your Instagram. But actually, that's how Michael Bancroft found me, man. He found me on Instagram. He didn't know I was CG. He didn't know I was doing all those trailers for Ethan and everything. God, it's crazy to think of the time. Like, one day I'm going to go back and do a timetable of my, building up to this project, and the amount of stuff that I have done is going to blow my mind. Just the amount of shows and the amount of cool people that I've met. I mean, there's more milestones in the creation of this project than anything I've probably ever done since going to college. It's crazy, man. Let me see. Yeah. All vampire must die. Agreed. Amen. Yes. Shanth, you are a real wholesome man. Anyone mad at you should be ashamed. Well, I'm sure they're out there, man. No shame in the game. My house is manufactured, so there you go. Ahoy, Billy. How are you doing, my friend? Billy, I felt so bad the other day. I had to take down that post. This is number 30. I can actually say that now because I'm not, spinning so many plates in my head. So this is page number 30. Billy, I felt so bad I had to take that post down because that was channel members only content, but I read your comment. Thank you for the kind words, Billy. I do enjoy the black and white stuff. It's just I've got to work in color, man. I will probably put that black and white short story in the next art book, which is going to probably be the next thing I do after Nosfero. It'll be the next thing that I crowdfund will be my next art book. And because it's, the work is ready to go and I want to get some more income coming in and get some more product out there after this, because this is basically, when you're doing a book like this, one of the things I think is important for anybody, I know you guys who run businesses or have restaurants or things like that or contracting businesses know this, but just because it's important to point out, the longer you spend on a book to make it the best book you can, the longer it is before you can launch the next project. So you are living off of, just backers and the money you've put together and, the money you've got tons of, the money you got to put aside, or not tons, but a pretty hefty percentage behind for, the printing of the book, and you've got all of that stuff going on. And it's basically like having to hold your breath underwater past the point of discomfort to do this kind of stuff, man. And I might do a short story like that. I never say never, but it is so grueling. I absolutely am thinking about that. I want to do Speakeasy t-shirts. I want to do Shanth Enjeti art hats, and Nosfero hat for sure. There's so many things I want to do. And it'll be, in some ways, I think the next campaign will be a little bit easier because this campaign was priced out for pre-pandemic costs. And that's a lot. Like, I could not have imagined that whole thing. Like, it's nuts. And so, it's easier to find, things and budget things when you actually know what things are going to cost. And I had put out 2 art books before, so I had no reason to think that there was going to be some massive, shift in things. But there is so much stuff that's involved in all of this. And that's why I got to tell you guys, when I price the book, I basically always price stuff with a really simple philosophy. Plan for things that they could go wrong, and make sure that if you don't make a profit, you don't totally lose your shirt. And that's it. And it's it's best advice I would give anybody is price things so that you don't lose your shirt. Like, that's the most important thing. Because you really, you gotta, this is how we're trying to make a business. You know, as Michael's often said about, Bancroft has often said about, just so people know which Michael I'm talking about, has often said about this, is that in Kickstarter and in that space, people are always like brag about how they're not making any money. And to me, I'm like, yeah, try bragging to your wife about that. Yeah, hey babe, I'm doing this thing and I'm not making any money. I mean, good Lord, my kids and my family do not, that's not something they're hyper enthusiastic about. I mean, it's already such a leap of faith to make a book, and it's a leap of faith for you guys. I mean, those of you, Stephen Rockwood hasn't backed the book yet, but for those of you guys who have, and you know who you are, I understand fully because I have backed projects that I still have not gotten or may never get, you know, who knows. I understand that it is a leap of faith, but that is why my respect to the people who backed me early at, you know, Michael keeps telling me that he goes, man, when you announce that you're that this book is done and it's painted and it's being lettered, you're going to get a flurry of new backers. And I told Michael, I go, I know, man, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be closing out the low price of the book and putting up a new perk that's this book but more expensive. Because I'm like, there is no way I am not going to reward the people who have been in here making it so that we don't just completely, you know, die. They're going to get special treatment, man. As far as I'm concerned, they're getting the special treatment. They're getting this book for the cheapest it will ever be. So enjoy it now, man. Let's see here. There he is, John. John. See, look, I feel like you guys have got quite the bromance going. What if you don't wear shirts? Listen, man. It's like Matthew McConaughey said, it'd be much cooler if you did. But yeah, man. I love that stuff. I love the bromance between John and the groomsman, man. It's cool. It's a cool bromance. And love is love. I want to make sure I say that as well. Shanth, I had trouble answering this once, but as an artist, boy, you're putting confidence in me. You'll likely know. How do you define beautiful, particular for something you want to create? Sorry, I'm kind of philosophical. No, be philosophical. This is the right space for it. Okay, so we've talked about this. I always say that if we put the word beauty aside, I like the word aesthetic. So think about it this way. Anesthetic is the opposite of aesthetic. And anesthetic, anesthesia, puts you to sleep and numbs you. Something that's aesthetic wakes you up. The ultimate for me in aesthetic experiences that were beyond words was seeing my kids for the first time, seeing my wife for the first time. I hate to put this on the same level, but it's totally true. Seeing the cover to Todd McFarlane's Hulk 340 for the first time. Seeing Frank Frazetta's work for the first time. Seeing Star Wars for the first time. It's an aesthetic experience. It wakes you up. It speaks to your soul. So when I go to paint, I think about things like orange and blue as complementary colors because that's the sunset. You know what I mean? That's the contrast of the blue and the orange that we experience in life. We see blue light all day long. We get this glimpse of orange and it inspires us, right? Fall colors, same thing. Blue sky, blue light, that's what filters through that blue sky. You see fall colors, a little bit of orange, and your soul wakes up. That's a very primal human thing. And that's the thing I'm always trying to create. That's the aesthetics. Oh my God. Buckle up. Someone said to Shanth, sorry, I'm kind of philosophical. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. Oh, I know. Oh, I think they're right. I think those are pretty close. What's up, Green Laser? How are you doing? It's great to see you. Hail, freaks and freakettes. Indeed. Shanth Spiral. Yeah, we can get into the Roxbury. You're absolutely right. Let's not get stuck in the Roxbury. That's right. Hail, Green Laser. Dragon Pisces says, by the way, I finished the Blender Guru Donut tutorial and done 2 other Blender tutorials, a collapsing Minecraft temple and a fantasy sword with embers and runes. Congratulations, Dragon Pisces. That will take you very, very far, man. That will take you very far. My son is working professionally in Blender right now. So Angela Curry's Twitter, absolutely. Hail Angela Curry. And Scottsy and all of you fine people here in the chat. Yeah, great answer. I think about it and learn. Yes, listen, man. I'm always trying to do the best I can do. Guys, check out Chrome Dog, by the way. I'm always trying to do the best I can do with this stuff because here's the thing, man. It really all comes down to people, man. It comes down to those interactions. And the way that human beings perceive aesthetics and they perceive their environment is who we're talking to. We're making artwork for the human experience and to give people something that is going to enrich their day. And the second, and maybe this goes back to the other question about what's the biggest thing I've learned while making this book, I would say I've relearned and reconnected with the principle that this is about entertaining people and inspiring people. And it's no different than when the first time somebody saw me drawing in class when I was a kid and said, hey man, could you draw me this character that I like? You know, I'll give you something for it. I'll give you $1 for it. Or hey man, you know, it's like, I'll trade you this action figure if you do a drawing of this character for me. And, or this garbage pail kid or whatever the hell it was. And you realize that there was this thing that you did that made somebody's life better to the extent that they wanted to, you know, pay you for it, to the extent that they had financial resources. And that's a beautiful thing because you're very much in, if you simplify it down, we're very much in the service industry. But as you guys know, if you go to, but we're also the chef, we're also, you know, the people who are doing those other things too. But if you go to a place, a hotel or a restaurant or, you know, a store, and the person there really cares about it and really cares about their customers, about them being there, you know full well you feel differently when you're in that space. You're like, man, I want to come back here. How many people continue to go and spend money, try to spend money at their local comic shop out of loyalty to the owner of the shop? Do you get what I mean? Like, I've got people, and you guys know who you are, who I know have backed this book once, twice, have upped what they're backing, the level that they're backing at, because they just want this book to do well, because they've gotten to know me and they want to support this book. I don't even know how you put that into words. Like how moving that is, how much gratitude you have. I mean, we joke a lot, you know, but when I got my first professional comic book job that Andy Smith, funny enough, did the cover on, I was walking up from the mailroom my freshman year of college and I met the groomsman who's in the chat. That's how far back we go. I've known him since I've held in my hands my first professional job in comics for a small indie publisher. I mean, words cannot describe how much that just does my head in. We were kids, and here we are, you know? Yeah, I agree with that. Well, that's certainly true for an introvert, let me tell you. And Leg Kick 1, my man, it's great to see you. Hail to you, Leg Kick 1. I love seeing you in the chat. Hail, Julie Pascal, great to see you here. Leftover. Oh, God, leftovers are good. Are we talking about Thanksgiving? Because if we need to go into a Thanksgiving conversation, I know it's not that time of year, but, man, I'm there. Let me tell you. I don't need to know. I've got more, like, you guys, my cup runneth over, man. My cup runneth over. No, you're quality, dude. That's just the way it is. Quality. I got a lot of great people, like I said. And what's so funny about this stuff is, guys, is that it's really great to have friends who are in other industries and who, you know, are doing different things, whether it's, you know, in animation or painters or anything, like even totally not related to this, you know. I mean, Jericho has his experience in the Navy and you know, he's an incredibly successful YouTuber, because what you end up doing, and I know we do this on my channel too, but you end up just talking shop. A lot of the channels that I watch when I'm not streaming or I'm not watching Comicsgate channels are things that are in areas of interest that I have that are like, again, horror collectibles or Godzilla stuff, like Leslie Chambers Kaiju reviews or Grim Life Collective, or even the Townsends, just loving history and loving to see how things are done. And when I'm working on Nosfero, I was unbelievably passionate about the history of comics, the history of mythology, of religion, and all of that stuff. There's a lot of those things, those passions, working their way into Nosfero all the time. So it's a crazy thing to be doing this book, and for it to be where it's at right now, for it to be on page 30. I mean, guys, when people ask me, someone asked me the other day, a friend of mine, and he's a cool dude, but he said to me, he goes, "Oh man, that new Tasha and Frazetta book, dude, is amazing. Have you ordered it yet? I know you're a huge Frazetta fan." And it's like, it's a $180 book. And I was like, dude, I can't afford to order that right now, man. I'm working. I got to be making money before I can, spend money. Like, that's a huge investment for me. I mean, and it's like, we put everything into this. Because we can't really affect the culture in a positive way without taking a little bit of risk. You know what I mean? And sometimes that means walking away from easier situations in some ways just so that you can escape with your soul, And it's like, but I will tell you this, guys. If I had to choose between the two things, and it's a false choice because, honestly, my attitude is to grow this thing big and to make it everything it can be. But I need to do this first. This is my priority. This book is, and my artwork is the thing that I've been putting the most time in since I was put on this planet. So it goes a long ways. And I've got one of my Frazetta books that I do have from back in the day. One of the Carl and Kathy Fenner books, I think it is, opened for inspiration in front of me. Just some random painting. Funny enough, I think it's actually a painting or a photograph and a painting. One is of R.E. Howard. So maybe I'm trying to channel Robert E. Howard inspiration right now, man. Who knows? But you gotta want this stuff, man. You gotta work hard, man. Yeah, that's right. Dropping links to Eric Huffles right there, man. Guys, make it happen. Green Laser. Eric Huffles dropping links to Green Laser saying, thank you. I love seeing it. Hail Blackjack. It's great to see him. Am I missing anybody? Green Laser in here. Agent Zero. How did we get that? Choice Voice, my man. Yes, guys, thanks for dropping links. I love Michael. I'm glad he got his channel back. That was really tough, man. Billy Basco's Twitter. Yes, check out Billy. Billy the Kid. Did you hear I have a free 10-page Ashcan preview available for Chrome Dog #1? Well, I heard now. Excellent. Cordrath, Andy Smith. Right on. Tales of Novitra shipping. Look at all you guys. 32 likes. What the hell's going on, man? You guys have gone nuts in here. I love it. Keep it up. Hail CG. Absolutely. Hail CG. God bless, man. I promise I will calm down with my link posting, trying to do Shanth faves and those in the chat. Hey, listen. Don't ever calm down. Can't stop. Won't stop. The grind. Don't stop. But yeah, man. I mean, we gotta, this is us. Like I said, it is us to break that through to a bigger audience when we have multinational corporations with marketing infrastructure, brand recognition, decades of experience. We have to be, it is again, to raise $100,000, which is a luxury I can't imagine at this point, to have that kind of resources. Not the work to get it, not knocking the work to get it at all. Again, not a Marxist. But to be in that situation is still, again, fighting a tank with a butter knife. It is they have got so many more resources. So every backer counts. Every person who helps get the word out about Nosfero is helping to make this thing happen. Everybody who backs the book, again, my God, some of you guys are crazy, man, and I love it. That's what makes it possible. But we have got quite a hill to climb if we want to make sure that we're going to actually put entertainment and content out there that's aspirational. Things that help us to be inspired and don't help us to be completely exasperated. And that's my attitude. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You ain't kidding. Guys, let me tell you how Improbi, it's so great to see you, man. Every time I look at my channel member list in my credits, I always am like, did I make sure I put his name in there? Because I felt so frustrated that day I forgot. But let me say this. I went through and took Ayn Rand's testimony before the House Un-American Activities Committee, and it's always sped up when you see it. It's always sped up, and it drives me crazy because you can't really understand what she's saying. And I went through and I adjusted the audio on it, and I made it so that you could actually understand and hear what she was saying, because it was frustrating to me. It was like, how is it that people can't see this? I'm painting over his face because watch what happens is it dries. It's going to come through a little bit, and you're going to be able to see. You're going to be able to see what is going on in it. So I took. Let me see if I can make this happen. File, new incognito window. I have to do this because otherwise, when you have your own channel, one of the most annoying things about it is it gives you links that aren't going to work unless you're logged into your channel, so it's a pain in the ass. And I feel like there should be a feature that I figure out that does this, but where the hell is it? God, I'm so glad I have this in Ecamm. So this right here is a link to my adjusting of the audio to Ayn Rand's House on American Activities Committee, where she talks about how brutal it is, man. Julie, I missed, when did you get, did the black over trick give me a heart attack? So yeah, I was just watching it back, Julie, so I could bring that forward. But there you go. Oh yes, Bond's cursed child. Man, we got a lot of wolves. We're raised by the wolves, and we got a lot of wolves. And again, I know a lot of you guys know this, but I have to say it because I don't know if he thought I was kidding or not when I told him this. And shout out to the coach, but I named the werewolf. The werewolf's name is Fenrir Malin. So I named the werewolf's character's name after John Malin out of respect. Because yes, he was, according to actual Comicsgate lore, he was the first man over the wall. As they used to say in ancient Rome. And so that's how we do it. So now I get to do the fun part right in here. Yeah, when I paint, the thing about it is it's very much a additive and subtractive process. So what I will try to do is my refining process is moving things forward, moving things back, and kind of so that I can get the best image possible out of it. And it looks like I'm erasing it, but what I'm doing is like when you go over something with a kneaded eraser, and you leave the ghost image of it. That's what I'm doing. As these paints start to dry and fade, you'll start to see some of what I had there before through the paint, and then you'll see, oh, like that's what happened. That's why that's what the ghost image is of it, and then you'll see me hit the detail like twice as hard on it. And that's what's going to be so fun about looking back on these streams. You're going to see instances where I change things that are massive. Like on the double page spread, I took this one shot. My wife, it's like, for her, it's like watching a horror movie. But my wife saw me just obliterate this panel because I needed something better. Okay, I set up the stream for 4:10 Eastern Standard Time. Shanth, see you then. I'm going to get lunch. All right, get lunch, brother. I will see you then. And yes, John Malin's YouTube channel. Where is John Malin? He used to pop into these streams from time to time. I feel like, I don't know. I feel a little sad about it. John, where are you? There's Plush. It's good to see a Pulp gang stand up. That's right. We're going to be having a Pulp conversation. Blood. That's exactly right. I can feel my love and my passion for the comic book grips right now in my blood. That's the way it is. But yeah, love grips, man. That was one of my things. Malin has a big night last and a big night tonight. Oh, no kidding. Oh, well, do tell. In order to slay more monsters, you either become their... Yeah, that's right. You must become their monster. That is exactly what it's about, guys. Yeah, I mean, Nosfero, again, Nosfero, does that name not seem like the death bird culling the living dead at dawn? It is the name both ghouls and demons dare not say, for they know it means death for the undead. That is what it's about, man. That is what it's about. And it's funny, too, because when I think about blood in terms of how it's painted and how it's shown on film, there's a lot of different ways you can go. One of the ways is the Hammer horror kind of cadmium red, kind of cartoonish blood, which you have to imagine was really cool to see back in the early days of Technicolor. and then there's kind of like the darker kind. I try to go a little bit in between and be in the middle, and I try not to, how do I word it? I'm more interested in the aesthetic of it, like slow motion or slow motion filming, or high frame rate of paint or balloons filled with paint breaking. Like, I want to get that really cool vibe to it. Oh yeah, Comicsgate Live with EVS for about 5 hours. That's right. Oh my gosh. And post Kangs tonight. God bless him. Yeah, who is Ethan Van Sciver? Ethan Van Sciver, Comic Artist Pro. Yeah, check him out. Give the young lad some support. I know he's definitely given me some support, and I appreciate it, man. He's a good dude. I think that goes without saying. Yeah, I mean, it's we have the ability to make the coolest stuff because we have got the skill, we've got the tools, and we've got the talent, as Winston Zeddemore, my favorite Ghostbuster, said. I gotta say, I'm seldom offended by television and media, but when I was watching Stranger Things and nobody wanted to be Winston, I thought that, for me, that made me realize that those guys were not around in the 80s. I know, obviously they weren't, but I was like going, you guys clearly were not there in the 80s. Because if there was one Ghostbuster that my friends and I, growing up in Chattanooga, always quoted, it was Winston. He was the most quotable Ghostbuster. How many times did any of you guys ever say to your friends, if you were growing up around that time, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes? It's the greatest line ever. Like, he was the only person in that outfit who made any sense. I love when he goes, I gotta get my own lawyer. Eric Weathers, the letterer on Nosfero, and he has got a sign up for Battle Brick Road 2. And he is getting ready to do some amazing work on this book. And he is also, by the way, the official contracted, sealed, signed, and delivered of the Rippaverse. And I could not be more proud and happy for him, because you want to talk about somebody who, like myself, has put a lot of time in to this stuff. But Eric is again, MVP level in this regard. So let me not compare right out the gates. But Eric has done so much to make the books that we read. He is the voice of Comicsgate in so many ways, because his lettering is what defines how you read the stories that we love, man. Yeah, I remember when I first saw a Ghostbuster movie, I won it from a raffle from my elementary school. That's awesome. Oh, does Ernie Hudson actually live in Kansas? You're kidding. I love Ernie Hudson. I mean, listen, Brandon Lee is one of my heroes, and he made The Crow a great movie with Brandon. Like, they had a great chemistry, man. Yes, I do believe he is. Yes, that's right, yeah. Well, that's what I've heard. I love that. Spitting facts. You got to, man. You got to spit facts about this, man. Ernie Hudson was the shit. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, you gotta do it, man. You gotta do it. But yeah, so like when I'm working on this kind of stuff and I'm working out like what I'm gonna do, and I'm thinking about the people that I want to work with, the Eric Weathers will be the first time on one of these books, one of my own books, I've collaborated with another artist and creator, and it is completely a joy, because I have so much respect for what he does, both as an artist and as a creator. But lettering, for anybody who has ever tried it and looked into it, and I've lettered books before by hand and digitally. So I actually did hand lettering on my first all my first indie books, but I hand lettered even the sound effects for when I did Spring Ball way back in the day, over 2 decades ago. And I have so much respect for it, because I actually did follow letterers when I was collecting comics. I mean, I love the ability that certain letterers have. And yeah, I actually love Kevin Nolan, who designed characters for Batman the Animated Series, inked Quesada on Sword of Azrael, that initial miniseries. I mean, Kevin Nolan actually, and did the Hellboy logo. He's an amazing letterer, and he letters his own stuff, and I respect the hell out of that. But if you're not going to do that, Eric Weathers, is the man. There we go. Yeah, it's starting to come together. So funny how different it looks on camera versus how it looks from where I'm sitting. Let's see here. Yeah, drawing, and so funny when he does videos. Oh my god. Yeah, the tornadoes. That was nuts. As gorgeous as the artwork is, I don't envy Eric Weathers the job. I would be a mess trying to figure out where to put the word balloons and text boxes without ruining anything. Eric's a pro, and I will tell you this: if you've got Eric Weathers, lettering your book, it's only going to improve the art. It's only going to improve the art. That's why I feel so confident about, working with that dude, because he's. I will say this: there are a few times, like I've seen some people laugh every now and again. If you watch Double Impact over on Gabe's channel, the show we do every Wednesday, Jericho almost never laughs. Jericho Green never breaks up into laughter, but John absolutely killed him a couple of weeks ago. And John, you should put that clip up somewhere. And Jericho just bust out laughing. He had to turn off his mic. I have never seen him so destroyed. And it was hilarious. I mean, it completely busted him up. But similarly, Eric July will laugh probably more often, but I watched him in a debate where somebody showed artwork that they were claiming to be actual ISOM artwork and lettering by Eric Weathers, and not only did Eric July bust out laughing and have to actually leave his chair to collect himself, but he flipped out because this person was claiming, as he said, and I agree, the great Eric Weathers, that they were attributing some junk that somebody on the internet did as a joke as being Eric's lettering. And that just shows how much respect that people have for Eric. And having done a show with him when we were doing the CG team, I told Eric this, and it's absolutely sincere. The thing I loved about that show was getting to hang out with Eric and the guys and do that show together, because he's just such a nice guy, man. He's really supportive. He's the kind of person that if you need something from him and he says he'll get it, to you, and he'll get it done, he means it, And those people are gold, man. Those people are gold. He's there for his friends, and he's I mean, what do you say? Like, Eric July is trying to hire the best people so that he can create the dream team in the Rippaverse. And it doesn't shock me at all that Eric Weathers is the person he wants, because if you want the best, then you want Eric Weathers. Is that enough Eric Weathers praise for a few minutes? I'm sorry if I went off on a tear there, but that's how I'm about my friends, man. And it's funny to see Eric has just stumbled into lettering comics. I know, but it's like God has a plan sometimes, man. And it's a beautiful thing. Oh, thank you, Green Laser. My goodness, you guys are great. I do appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Really do. But you know how it is, man. It's like your friends. Your friends are the people who are ride or die and there for you and support the work that you do. And, again, I know that this was asked earlier, like what things are the most surprising, what things have you learned? I learned there's a lot more good people out there than I had thought. I'll tell you that right now. Say that if I can say that without getting too emotional here. But there's sometimes you go through things to get where you are that are just a fact of life. They're not ideal, and you have to go through them to become the person you are. And sometimes overcoming them can be incredibly difficult. And there's a lot of that. There was a lot to overcome in doing this book and dealing with those things. And I would say that depending on what your experience is, sometimes it can be incredibly easy to believe and be sold on the fact that the world's filled with terrible people and everything's terrible and what's the point of anything. But I went down that road about as far as I think I ever care to, that kind of cynicism. And I say no. I refuse that narrative. I refuse that philosophy and belief. But even still, I have been really amazed by the quality and caliber of people that I've met in this space, and their support for me and my family and what I do. And that goes for all you backers in there. What the hell is happening to me, man? You guys got me in a state here on a Friday or a Monday or Tuesday or whatever day it is. The days blend together. I just work. It's a Monday. There you have it. I mean, I should know, right? Because it's like my whole life is scheduled out, in terms of when I have to get everything done and when I have shows. But I mean, seriously, guys, sincerely, if you're going to learn something in life, make sure you're learning the things that put fuel in your tank and inspire you. And, you know, I don't think you'd have life without, you know, those other experiences. Those are important too. I think that's how you get strong, man, is having your principles when you're alone, you know, and there aren't people around you. But it is, it shouldn't mean that you always think you have to do everything alone. And that sometimes you have people who are like, yeah, man, I like the stuff that you do and I support you, and, you know, and that's a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a thing. And, you know, it's funny because she's not here, and I'll embarrass her a little bit because, well, she's not here. There's a young lady that my wife teaches at her school. And she was a difficult birth. She was... She was on a feeding tube for the first 3 years of her life. And she's got just such a beautiful spirit, man. You know? She's got a beautiful spirit. She loves art. She's so upbeat. She's so positive. And my wife just adores her, man. Absolutely adores her. And she got sick. And she missed this painting arts night event that she was really excited about. She was just so excited about this event, man. And so it was kind of a bummer because my wife adores this kid, and she's had to overcome so many things, like learning how to swallow, learning how to digest food. 3 years, you know, at 3 years old, because you've never been able to do that. I mean, just think about that for a minute, guys. And my wife comes home late from work, like about 5 or 4:30 or so. I figure she has a meeting, and I said, "What did you do, babe? What did you do today?" Like, not looking at what did you do, but I was like, "Oh no, what did you do? Did you have a meeting? What was it, a club thing?" And she said to me, she goes, "That girl who missed the arts night, I decided to set up and do a painting after school with her, time period with her, so she didn't miss it. So I kind of did her own like special painting arts night with her." That's who I rock with, man. That's the person I married. Those are the people I want to be around. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gold, man. The kindness, the caring, the love, the support. Like, there's people around here, man, who, like, you know, there's people around here who need support from people, from the adults in their life, and they need kindness, they need all that stuff, and it's important to me anyway, to always try to bring the beauty to people and to put that stuff out there. Hail, Anthony Gonzalez Clark. Is great to see you, man. It's terrific to see you. And yeah, man, ride or die. You're absolutely right. It's like you can make people's lives so much better by bringing something positive, because that kid is a ray of sunshine in my wife's life. And that's what I love about her. She sees the beauty in perseverance, and she sees the beauty in, you know, caring, giving a damn. And this kid, like, you see so many people who have got less obstacles to overcome, and the real pity is that they're miserable because they're always going to talk about what they don't have. And it is an incredible thing when you meet young kids who overcome obstacles, and if you were to ask them about their life, all they would talk about is how lucky they are and how fortunate they are. And that's where you want to be. That's the zone you want to keep yourself in, man. And I love that. I love that about my community. Like, I wake up and I see the people at the post office, and I see, you know, the folks, you know, everywhere, you know, around me, and I just think, hey, man, it's a good day. Let's go out and have it. Let's try to stay positive. Let's keep things on the up and up. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Let me see here. Oh, let me see. Glasses fell down. Bro, I need a unit like your miss. Absolutely. True character is underappreciated these days. Yeah, it is, and that's what it is. We in America are so spoiled. We worry and fret over nothing. You're absolutely right, man. And listen, guys, man, I mean, this is the thing about it. We're going to work. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to get things done. And she knows I'm the same way. You know, she knows I'm the same way about people. And, you know, for me, some of my best experiences in life, man, when I was doing stuff was, you know, at comic conventions, and having somebody like Todd McFarlane take an extra 5 minutes with me when I was 14 to, like, talk about, you know, to just make a joke with me and sign my comics. I mean, you never think that there's, that doing something big for somebody has to be grandiose and big. Sometimes it's holding the door. Sometimes it's saying thank you. Don't let the people who are, don't let the people who are negative out there convince you. Don't ever be black-pilled, man. It's just, don't go down that road. And if you see, somebody who's struggling with that stuff, tell them, hey, man, let's not go down that road. It'll make for a better world, but it's the secret. The secret of propaganda, the secret of all that dark stuff is not to convince you, it's to demoralize you. So don't let yourself get into that space, because it's not good for you, man. It's just not good. Still streaming, my friend called and I used my phone. Oh, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, dude. I love it. We are in America, so yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, we're very fortunate, man. We're very fortunate. Yeah, man. It's like, keep drawing and keep making stuff, man. It's like every day, I know the things the obstacles I've run into during the making of this book. And again, guys, just so people know, the title of the stream, starting page 30, that means there are 30 Nosfero paintings soon, and there will be 33. So 33 fully painted pages of this comic book, man. And the thing about it for me is that this is funded by the people. This is funded by Comicsgate. How freaking cool is that? We made this. We are David and they are Goliath. We are against this a massive force that outnumbers us in terms of financial resources by a factor that's beyond our comprehension, and still we get up and we make this great stuff. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. Absolutely. Yeah, keep fighting. Never give up. Never surrender. And make sure, like Eric July was saying the other day, make sure that, you guys realize that when we know what we have to do and how much work it is on the creative end of things, but when you guys say to yourselves, I'm going to take this money that I would have spent on something in the mainstream and I'm going to put it into a creator and their work and back them, that is just the biggest thing you can do for us in this space. And, it's the same thing. Like, I started thinking about, like, I'm going to spend my money on the creators and the people who are moving things in the right direction. And it really is, it's the money that, is what they use as their power. Like I went and watched, I got a 1-month subscription to Daily Wire so I could watch Terror on the Prairie with Gina Carano, because I want them to see, man, that I support it. We are America and they're the British Redcoats. Amen. I love how calm and touching Shanth is while he paints an arm being ripped off. Dude, you've known me since college, man. You know full well those two things are all a part of the same life continuum in me, man. You know that. It's like, I'm not optimistic because things are easy. I'm optimistic because things have been hard. And that is a huge, huge difference in temperament, It's like, do I appreciate any help? Yes. Do I want things to be difficult? No. But somehow, I've always been able to enjoy and appreciate the little things and those little acts of kindness that I can do for people and the support, even though I've seen some tough things, but that's how it is, man. Okay. I updated my address. Excellent. So all is good. Excellent. Yeah, it's a demon arm. Yeah, like this arm is on something that ain't good. You know what I'm saying? We don't. That's not how we rock. Exactly. At Shanth Enjeti Art, the ultimate black pillar, Tucker Carlson used to like him, but every single day he attempts to scare and demoralize you with absolutely zero positive outcome. That's right. It is. Yeah. I mean, the Debbie Downer thing is, how do I put it? The question I always have whenever I'm doing something is very basic. It's, to what end? To what end is what I'm doing, or my thought pattern that I'm in right now, where is it going to lead? Does it go anywhere good? And I don't mean, does this conclusion go to something that makes me uncomfortable? I mean something very particular. Am I putting something out in the world that is going to give the world strength and be about supporting something, or am I just going to be drawing attention to something I don't want to be drawing attention to, which is something negative that I don't like, and encouraging people to have less hope? And I think that you have to have a good balance of that if you're going to make communication happen. So, for example, and this goes to the entertainment thing, simplify. If I started this project and I had just thought about all the things that could go wrong, or what happens if it doesn't fund, or if it doesn't fund well, or if it doesn't even make it to, the funding goal, I would never have started this project. So I had to ask some hard questions, but at the same time, I had to put those things in the back of my, mind in order to be able to do this. And so I went into it realistically, but it's the staying positive. It's the staying, and not, when I say positive, let me be clear. It's proceeding as if success were inevitable, and always making sure that you're being a example of the values that you have, and not about letting people know only what things you hate and what things you don't like. And so that to me makes Comicsgate a much easier sell, because if I'm in just the commentary space, I'm going to be talking about the stuff I don't like. But this gives people a place to go with their money and with their passion, with their resources. Here you go. You're getting some suggestions. You're getting some prescriptions here from Marcus. So there you go. Yeah, man. It's, and again, guys, I can't speak to that because I don't want, could be worse. A friend of mine is saying he owes $800 to the state in taxes, which has to be an error. Yeah. Guys, right on. Those are the things, right? And so what do you say to somebody in that situation? How do you lift them out of their negativity so that they can think straight to do things? I think one of the most difficult things in the world is to think straight when you're upset or worried or concerned. And sometimes I think, giving you guys a space and using this channel to put positivity out there and showing you guys this art, I'm able to, God knows how, I really think about it sometimes, because I used to not think it was weird, and then you guys kept telling me it was weird, and maybe that's what happened. But, but I can paint and show you guys something coming together and forming in front of your very eyes, and I can also talk to you at the same time. And if I can make a space where you guys can hear something maybe positive about the things that I really care about, that I know a lot of you guys do, like being kind to a young student who came into this world with a few more obstacles than the average bear. Do you know what I mean? Then I hope that that's something that you'll take with you for the rest of your day, and you'll look around you and see these great people, man. Because there's so many great people. Stephen Rockwood drawing, man, when he was always telling me, this book's going to get this far, this book's going to get that far, I'm always like, okay. And even the other day, man, it's like I was texting with Jeremy, Ice and Fire, and we were just texting, and I sent him an image, a little icon image to inspire him or whatever, because I'm excited about what he's doing. And it's like it affects people, man. Eric Huffles, John, I'm an obnoxious optimist. I'm not affected by stuff like some people. There you go. I'm the same boat with Tarker, but what black pills others may be different than me. Yeah, listen, guys. It's here's what I would say. If there's stuff that you've got going on that you find is not helping you to operate at your best, be selective. Be selective of what you let into your head, man. It's be selective about, art. Be selective about media you watch. And sometimes it's funny. I see people who have almost an allergic reaction to people who are positive, because I think there's this weird assumption people have that if you're sincerely enthusiastic and positive, that you must not have experienced things. I again point to myself and my wife's student, who's incredible, and I just go, stay away from those people. Go find the people who are really enthusiastic and are legit and sincere, and they will bring a lot of joy into your life. And sometimes, by the way, we need to watch things that are for ourselves. Like, we're just like, I want to see some stuff. Does this drive me crazy? Whatever you need, man. What is up? Eric, how are you doing? It's good to see you, man. Good afternoon, Shanth and chat. Good to get some inspiration on Monday. Hey, listen, that's what you got to do. Shanth, 55 minutes until you need to be on with Phil. You're absolutely right, too. I got to make sure I do that. I'm gonna be well, we'll see. I got a little bit more time left here. John, Shanth forgot to mention that when we first met each other, he was painting and talking at the same time. Was that right? Was I really? Or are you just kidding? I can't remember. Good on you. It's easy to give in to the battles around you. Yeah, there's so many people in this chat, man, who we just kind of lift each other up, man, and we do the work. Yeah, the perpetually negative dregs the real vampires. And by the way, Timmy Mello, I know you know this. Channel member Timmy Mello, Rockstar. The reason that is exactly what drew me into these vampires in this story is the fact that they're the forces that try to feed on the vitality of life. And I wanted to create a character and have people understand that there are people who are the opposite and fight to make life, better, richer, more inspiring. And that is absolutely what these vampires fear. And I wanted to create a hero and a character in Nosfero that is what they fear. What the forces of death and dregs. No, I'm kidding. You could have, though. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so funny because sometimes I can't remember. I have a pretty damn good memory, but sometimes I can't remember when people are being serious because it could have very well been. There's no shortage of conversations I've had while I've painted. And it took me a while to realize people don't know how dialed in I am when I'm painting. So it's not like I'm... How do I word it? The first time I realized that I couldn't just walk up to my wife when she was in the middle of doing something and she couldn't just be fully focused on me, it surprised me and I realized, oh, that's not a normal thing. People don't just talk when they're in the middle of doing something complicated. But, my mind is not full of words, it's full of pictures, so I guess that's an advantage in that regard. It's so weird to me that people think that most people, and it's better thing to be, I think, in some regards, but think in sentences. Like, when I found that out, I was like, what? And so I was just, God, it still creeps me out to think that it's not how other people think. I told my wife, because she goes, well, I feel bad, I feel like so much pressure, I got to figure out how to talk to you. And I said, babe, you don't have to figure out how to talk to me, you're normal. I go, I'll figure out how to talk to you. It's weird. Mortal V, how are you doing? It's great to see you. Oh, I love that image, man. Is that Malin with the movable mask today? That's awesome. We're seeing it today. There are people who seem to draw energy from negativity and culture. That Velma show is an example. That's absolutely right. And all we got to do is hold up a mirror and they can't take it. Mortal V, ready to pronounce at any moment. There you go. What is Ethan? Yes. Theory, vampire stories increased during Democratic rule and zombies during Republican. I think his was werewolves, which we'll have werewolves in this. But I was lurking. You thought it was safe. I love the chat, man. I love the chat. Dude, you guys are killing me. I crashed hard last night, so it seems Shane has someone, bumming his IP, and he was inking bricks last night and this morning. There you go. Oh, my God. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what the hell? But no one can do what he's doing in that stuff. Starlight Cats is its own thing, man. Like, it's so, it's like, how do I put it? I've seen a lot of people try to do fiction stories of that venture. It's a lot more Harry Potter than it is, cutesy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's got such a bigger world to it. And I love that. I love that about it. Shane is, him and Yanzi are just doing some of the coolest stuff right now in CG. And he really, I don't want to say, because I think there's a lot of great stuff going on. But that book was a very what's the word I'm looking for? Out of what you were seeing in CG. It was a very rare book. Like, it wasn't something a lot of people were doing. And its success was hard fought, but I think the second success that happened for that book was people got the book, read it, and went, holy cow, this is really good. You know what I mean? And I just respect the hell out of him for that, man. That's great. I mean, I'm really excited about Inglorious Rex, and I love the stuff he's doing because Kaiju is right up my alley. But, man, I tell you what, Starlight Cats, everybody I heard who's gotten that book was just loving it, man. So, yeah, hats off to Shane, man. Hats off to Shane and Yanzi. And to Pterodactyl. Let's include Pterodactyl in this. Let me see here. Air Cuffles, yeah, Starlight Cats, man. There it is. 9 Lives Comics. Yeah, Disney has already stole it. Super Kitties. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. That they, what are you gonna do? They're out of ideas, but then they've lost their audience, so we'll see how that goes. Apparently, the creator of that cartoon had been caught once already ripping off a crowdfunded comic. Lovely. Well, they can buy Shane another house. That's what I say. You would at least think they would change the cat's color schemes. Oh, wow. Dude, I haven't deep dived into this enough. I would have to deep dive into that. Yeah. You know what? It's so... yeah. Don't get me started on that kind of stuff. It's so weird. It's absolutely strange how creatively bankrupt they are. And that's what happens when you alienate all of the actual creatives, who work at a place. Really strange. Yeah, I mean, just hire the people who actually come up with the ideas. There we go. There we are. Well, the good thing is that getting the word out is a lot easier than it ever has been. So, yeah, we'll make sure to do that. All right, gang. Look at this panel coming together. It's absolutely crazy. So, let me do this here. Let me get you guys a little bit closer in here. Oof, sorry about all of that. There we go. So here we are, guys. We are at the start and of a pretty big combat scene. What is up, Bordeaux? It's good to see you, man. Great to have all of you guys in the chat. Thank you for coming in here and hitting the like. It's crazy. We're almost at 45 likes. It's nuts. Yeah, it makes me more paranoid who is watching us besides the usual rabble. Well, of course they're watching us. We're like the biggest topic of conversation to them, But yeah, well, Shanth, I think of the caliber of art student that the schools were turning out is real surprise. They are bankrupt. It is absolutely not a surprise. Yeah, it's not a surprise. So here's the big thing I want to make sure I say today, guys. And thank you for being here. Thank you for, oh my God, one away from 45. Are you kidding me? Guys, I'm going to be over on Phil's channel at 4:10 Eastern time. So in about 45, 50 minutes, I'm going to be over on Phil's channel. We're going to be talking Pulp. I know we want to talk about the Masquerade paint. Oh my God, 45! Yay, 45! Look, we hit it, man. Awesome. But we're going to be over there talking about Pulp. We want to talk about the Masquerade and just get in some hang time. Because again, one of the coolest things about CG is, of course, the people you meet, those crazy conversations you have, the laughter and all of that. God, I feel like I'm doing the theme song to Growing Pains right now. God, this is getting... I didn't mean to get so hokey on this stream, guys. It's it's real, man. It's real. But I don't know, man. I love this stuff. I love what we're doing here in Comicsgate. I'm feeling a lot of emotion right now. There you go. 45. Almost forgot. There you go. Thank you so much, guys. But getting to page 30 has definitely been overwhelming. It hit me really hard unexpectedly this week that I was just like starting to feel, that kind of relief that seeing the whole story unfold and thanking God that, this leap of faith is leading to a book that you guys are going to get. It's going to be beautiful and you're going to enjoy it. And that's what I got into this for. And that's what I wanted for you guys. So thank you guys so much. Yes, indeed. Oh my God, you guys are the best. And let me just say this, guys. Thank you for being here so much. I do appreciate it. And I do appreciate you guys, making all of this stuff happen here with this. And I'm going to get you guys... I don't look a day over 29. I don't know about that. Yeah, from your lips to God's ears, guys. But I'm going to wrap up with the credits here for our channel members. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for hitting that like and for subscribing. 47 likes, guys. I'm going to be over on Phil's channel. Don't forget... I'm going to be over on Phil's channel. He does... Oh, Groomsman, I knew you had to go there. But what do you call it? But, yeah, I'm so far from 30, I can't even see it from where I am. But thank you guys for being here. Everybody have a great rest of the day. Couldn't say it better, James Hayes. Thank you so much, man. And you guys take care. I will see you guys. Thank you for all of my channel members. Do enjoy the new content I'm putting up there, the new artwork. And everything like that. I will see you guys soon. Take care, Stephen Rockwood. Take care, John. There's the link to Phil's stream right there, so open it up in another window. We'll be seeing you guys there shortly, about 40 minutes or so. Lloyd Burton, it is great to see you, my friend, in the chat. Channel member Lloyd Burton. Going to be celebrating you here in this credit, so thank you guys again. I will see you guys soon. You guys are the best. Take care. Yeah, more cool stuff to come. So stay gold and peace.